The 2024 track and field season has come to a close. For Jamaican fans and athletes alike, a more favorable medal tally was expected in Paris, having seen the exciting performances at the Jamaican Olympic trials. The question is, what went wrong? The short answer, the competition was simply better prepared. As for the fans, the glory years from 2008 through 2016 may have contributed to the disappointment for the gold medal hungry supporters. It is possible that the fans have been spoiled by the accolades of Bolt, Shelley, and Elaine. Nevertheless, there's a silver lining from these disappointments, as it exposed a fundamental flaw in the conditioning of Jamaican sprinters. So let me cut to the chase and highlight what I think are the challenges that face our sprinters on the track. The current crop of sprinters are not like VCB or Merlin Ottey or Donald Quard. Looking at some of the gold medalists from the Paris Olympics, for example, Noah Lyles, Tibogo, and Gabby Thomas, they all share something in common similar to the names mentioned. They all do the double, but they go a step further. They also run the 400 meters, and they are extremely good at it. Comparatively speaking, our current crop of sprinters, they're good, but they're not great because they are one dimensional. It appears as if they're scared of running the 200 meters, but they will never be great sprinters until they embrace it. Now, this may seem silly to some, but the 200 meters did not get longer. It's not an uphill race or an obstacle course. It has not changed. It is the same 200 meters that Merlin Ottey, Donald Quard, and Noah Lyles competed in. So, if it did not change, what did? I think what actually changed is the mindset of both athletes and coaches today. The 200 and the 400 meters are essential for conditioning sprinters to have strength and endurance and speed endurance, something the current crop lacks. That is why it appears as if athletes such as Bolt, Lyles, and Tobago seem to have that extra gear when others appeared gassed out. So the current crop is built solely for Diamond League type races, but they're not conditioned for rounds. Case in point, the Clayton twins, who are poised as an element of the future of Jamaica's track and field, have both run sub 11 seconds for the 100 meters. But in the 200 meters, their PBs are 23.84 and 23.65 seconds respectively. That translates to 11.92 and 11.82 per 100 meters. To put those times into perspective, if they were competing in the 200 meters and ran 11 seconds flat for the first 100 meters, given their limitations, their second 100 meters would be 12.84 and 12.65 seconds. With those times, they would not make it to the semifinals on the world stage. We all know To medal in the 200 meters at the Olympics or World Championship, you have to be running sub 22 seconds. That's a fact. So the problem is, too many of our current sprinters are simply focused on the 100 meters. Of course, we have the exception of Sharika Jackson or an informed Elaine Thompson and to some extent Oblique Seville. But there are no Jamaican sprinters can make this claim to fame. So what is the solution? They need to run more 400 meters. Embrace it like their lives depend on it. It is like vegetables to the body. Sprinters may not like it, but it is good for them. Did you notice no Jamaicans made it to the finals of the 200 or even the 400 meters? Something to think about. Moving on. Now, I'm no Hubert Lawrence. I certainly miss his expert analysis, and I know the athletic fraternity dearly misses him as well. But as I reflect on the past season, it is possible that the late Hubie would have agreed with me as I make these recommendations. 1. If any athlete or coach chooses to spurn the J3As, or some may say the purple 3As, again, by way of the relays, they may find themselves by themselves because the governing body of the J3As has taken note and is likely to make an example out of these athletes to convey the point that they are replaceable. It's interesting to know that none of the male athletes who did not make themselves available for relay duties won an individual medal or made it to the finals of their events. There is a saying, pride is before a crash. So an opportunity lost can never be regained. Furthermore, a new crop of talent emerges from Jamaica every year, and they're ready and waiting to make a name for themselves. Now, for some people, change is necessary. Athletes change coaches periodically, and sometimes they change events. I believe the following ladies may want to explore the 400 meters because the landscape of the sprints has become more and more difficult to navigate. So, Kavona Davis, Ashanti Moore, Jodian Williams, and Shakoria Wallace, if you're listening, you have the build, you have the speed, and I truly believe you all have what it takes to break 50 seconds. The question is, do you have a desire to try something new? Do you believe you can become the new 400-meter champion for Jamaica? Similarly, I believe that now is the time that Javier Brown, formerly of Jamaica College, and Bembridge, formerly of Calabar and Tarrant, return to the 400 hurdles. Brown would do well training with Rashawn Clark and Bembridge with Malik James King. The respective coaches are at the top of their game, and have what it takes to catapult these young men to higher levels. Switching gears, a note to Michael Dyke of Edwin Allen. It appears as if the sprinters at Edwin Allen engage in too much weight training. Their thighs are built like bodybuilders. Is it really necessary? Looking at Sabrina Dockery and Shanoia Douglas, they're great examples of sprinters without bulk. And being females, this means they're more inclined to gain weight in the hips and butt as they get older. We all know that too much weight is a sprinter's worst nightmare. Continuing with Edwin Allen and their program, their 400-meter is lacking in depth. There's too much reliance on 800-meter runners or 400-meter hurdlers. They need these athletes to run 4x400-meter relays. It should come as no surprise that Shanoia Douglas got the best of Terlong at champs in the 200 meters. Why? Because of her 400-meter background, something the Edwin Allen girls are lacking. Now, I must make a special mention of Tia Clayton, one half of the Grange Hill Dynamites. I'm extremely proud of her. She has grown up. One can see her exuding confidence oh so quietly, as she no longer runs with the fear of losing to her sister. Now, should she embrace the 200 meters and break the 22 seconds barrier, the world better watch out. But not to overlook Tina. We must remember that whatever Tia can do, so can Tina. They have an unmatched fire in their hearts, a desire to prove all their critics wrong when they step on the track. And most importantly, if one did notice, they love to win, especially when they are underdogs. Now, the same applies to Kishane Thompson. Should he start running the 200 meters and perhaps the 400 meters, he will be more dangerous than he already is. And finally, will 2025 be the year Calabar High School breaks 39 seconds in the 4x100 meters relay? We'll have to wait and see. I suspect Corey Bennett, the mad scientist or the madman, as he's affectionately called at 61 Riddles Road, has something to prove to himself, the school, and the old boys of Coba. Looking at the squad he has at his disposal, I believe that this can be accomplished, and he can do so without Messi, aka Nicoy Bramwell. Now, should he succeed where Michael Clark failed, it is likely that an overseas interest will scoop him up so fast with an offer so lucrative, it may be goodbye Heidel and goodbye Calabar. Those are my views. Share your thoughts if you like. Until 2025, this has been On Your Marks Track and Field.